So today we start about mineral metabolism and abnormalities. So mineral metal, what is the requirement of minerals? Minerals is requirement for the normal growth and function of the body. Okay, it is requirement for the normal growth and maintenance of the body. So minerals can be divided into two groups. One is major, one is minor. That major also you can tell that is macro mineral. That is macro mineral and micro mineral. Then what is the meaning of macro mineral? Macro mineral means that is less than, requirement is less than 100 milligram per day. Okay. That means those minerals require less than 100 milligram per day, that will be your micro, and more than 100 that will be macro mineral. What are these? These are the major elements or macro elements, that is macro minerals or major elements. These are the calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, sodium, potassium, chloride and sulfur. These are the macro. And what are the trace elements? Trace elements, what is the meaning of trace elements? Trace means little bit, less. That means that is the micro elements. That is the micro elements. That will be require less than 100 milligram per day. So today we will discuss about the copper metabolism. It includes under which minerals, that is macro and micro. That is micro. So total body content is near about 100 milligram, and mostly it is present in the all tissue, but highest concentration is found in the mostly kidney, liver and cardiac muscle and skeletal muscle. Cardiac muscle and skeletal muscle. And what are the sources? Sources mostly it is the organ meat, that is liver, kidney, and shellfish, egg yolk and some legumes. What is the recommended dietary allowance? That means how much required? That is 2 to 3 mg per day. 2 to 3 milligram per day. That is for adult. And 0.5 to 2 milligram it is for children. Then how it will be absorbed? It is mostly absorbed from the upper part of the small intestine. From there it will be readily absorbed. Absorbed copper is transported to the liver, bound to albumin and exported to peripheral tissue, mainly as ceruloplasmin and lesser to extent of albumin. That means the transport form, it can bound with the transport form, that is it may be albumin, it may be ceruloplasmin, but most of the 90% to 95% will be ceruloplasmin and less 5 to 10% with albumin. Binding capacity with ceruloplasmin will be high, and with binding capacity with the albumin will be less. Binding capacity is the loose binding, okay, but that copper binds with ceruloplasmin will be tight binding. Metallothionein is a transport protein that facilitates the copper metabolism. That means copper metabolism. For that copper metabolism, very important is as a transporter. works as a transporter, that is metallothionein. What is metallothionein? Metallothionein is a small group of protein. It is a small group of protein. It contains cysteine. It contains cysteine. Cysteine, what kind of amino acid is cysteine? What kind of amino acid? Cysteine. Under which group? Sulfur containing amino acid. Very good. Sulfur containing amino acid. So sulfur containing amino acid contains sulfur. One group is, that is SH group. What is that group? SH group. Sulfihydryl group. Due to this group of cysteine, it can easily binds. It can easily binds, or it can be easily binds with the metal. Okay, the binding capacity of metal or binding capacity of the copper will be increased by due to presence of cysteine. Due to cysteine, which group is there? That is sulfihydryl group. That sulfihydryl group will be responsible for the binding. Phytate, that presence in food, zinc, molybdenum, that decrease the copper uptake. These compounds will be decrease the absorption of copper. So what is the normal plasma copper level? It will be 100 to 200 milligram per dl. 100 to 200 milligram per dl. This is the normal plasma copper. Most of this, 90% is tightly bound to ceruloplasmin. Small fraction is loosely held to albumin. That I told you. So 90 to 95% mostly it will be tied with the or binds with the ceruloplasmin, and very less 5 to 10% will be binds with the albumin. 25 to 50 milligram per dl, it is the normal plasma ceruloplasmin level. This is very important. Write down all of this. Ceruloplasmin is your short note question. Okay, 5-mark question. Ceruloplasmin. What is that ceruloplasmin? It is a important copper containing glycoprotein. It is a important, first point, it is a copper containing glycoprotein. Second point, it is a alpha 2 globulin. It is a alpha 2 globulin. It is mainly synthesized by the parenchymal cell of liver and small portion by the lymphocytes and macrophages. So mostly it is synthesized in the parenchymal cell of the liver. It is also called as serum ferroxidase. Why? Because it promotes the oxidation of ferrous iron to ferric. See, this is the Fe2 plus. This is ferric or ferrous? This is ferrous. So ferrous will convert it to ferric, Fe3 plus. So ferrous to converted to ferric by the help of enzyme, that is ferroxidase. That means once it will convert it to ferric, it will be incorporated to transferrin. Very important. When iron metabolism will read, that time it is important. Okay, transferrin. It is once ferric will be converted, so it will be incorporation with the transferrin. And what will happen? How it will happen? By the ceruloplasmin oxidation. So oxidation of ceruloplasmin, it causes the ferrous to ferric. And itself ceruloplasmin oxidation ceruloplasmin will be converted to reduced ceruloplasmin. Understand? This point you understand or not? Sorry, any doubt? Understand or not? See, this is what is the role of ceruloplasmin. What will happen? See, transferrin is important. Transferrin is important, and for transferrin Fe3 is important because Fe3 will be incorporation with the transferrin. Incorporation with the transferrin. What is the role of transferrin? It is a transporter of iron. Transporter of iron. Iron will be transported by the transferrin. So what will happen? How it will be formed? It will form by the, if due to suppose that cerebral plasmin deficiency is there, so transferrin formation will be decreased. Understand? Transferrin formation will be decreased. So what will happen? For that, so ferrous will converted to ferric in presence of cerebral plasmin. In presence of cerebral plasmin. Understand? So cerebral plasmin will help in the formation of transferrin. Okay. Each molecule of ceruloplasmin binds 6 copper atoms very tightly so that copper is not readily exchangeable. Okay. So to binding, how much one ceruloplasmin binds with the, how much copper, how many coppers? 6 coppers. Okay. So binding capacity is high. About 90% of copper content of plasma is bound with the ceruloplasmin, 10% with the albumin. Okay. So tight binding of copper with the ceruloplasmin, loosely bind with the albumin. What is the reference blood level in adult? 22 to 40 milligram per dl in case of adult male. In case of adult female will be 25 to 60 milligram per dl, and in case of pregnancy 30 to 120 mg per dl. This is the plasma ceruloplasmin level. And when it will be that decrease, what disease will form? Disease will be Wilson disease. Wilson disease, very important, short notes. Malnutrition, nephrosis, and when the copper level will be increased, that will be biliary cirrhosis, hemochromatosis, and collagen disorders, and also some kind of cancers. Have you wrote? Very important question. Cerebral plasmin is a short note. Okay. Then what are the biochemical functions? Very important. Biochemical functions. You can biochemical functions of copper. You can get a 5 mark question, or you can get a all enzymes are there. Question may come as a suppose cytochrome oxidase. Cytochrome oxidase contains trace minerals that you can write, that is copper. All these enzymes are the copper containing enzymes. Cytochrome oxidase, catalase, tyrosinase, allosynthetase, that is alpha amino lipolynar synthase, SOD, superoxide dismutase, and lysyl oxidase. These are enzymes. These are enzymes. They are copper containing enzymes. So copper is required, or copper is binds with these enzymes, or in without copper these enzymes, work of enzymes will be deficient. First enzyme is the cytochrome oxidase. Cytochrome oxidase. Anybody can tell how it will help? Where it will work? Very good, ETC. It helps in the electron transport chain. Helps in the electron, involved in the electron transport chain. Next is the enzyme catalase. Anybody can tell? Role of catalase. Cyan. Yes, yes. H2 degradation of catalysis. Catalysis of H2. That means toxic form to non-toxic form. Toxic form to non-toxic form. Next enzyme is the your tyrosinase. Now you can tell tyrosinase. What is the role of tyrosinase? It helps in the synthesis of tyrosinase. It helps synthesis of already finished in your protein metabolism or amino acid metabolism. Tyrosin to pigment synthesis. Melanin. Melanin. Synthesis of melanin. So tyrosinase helps in the from tyrosin to melanin synthesis occurs. What is the role of melanin? It will be pigmentation. So deficiency of tyrosinase, what will happen? Hypopigmentation. Allosynthes. Now you can tell. Allosynthes, alpha amino libulinate synthase. Yes, synthesis of hemoglobin. Helps in synthesis of hemoglobin. The next is another one, SOD. Superoxide dismutase. Superoxide dismutase. What is the role of superoxide dismutase? Acts as a antioxidant. Role is antioxidant. Lysyl oxidase. Synthesis of helps in the synthesis of collagen synthesis, elastin synthesis. Synthesis of collagen. These are the all enzymes, that is cytochrome oxidase, catalase, tyrosinase, alpha amino libulinate synthase, superoxide dismutase, lysyl oxidase. These are the copper containing enzymes. These are the copper containing enzymes. Copper is necessary for the synthesis of hemoglobin. Already discussed. It is a constituent of allosynthase, which is needed for the heme synthesis. Lysyl oxidase, it is a copper containing enzyme required for the conversion of certain lysine residues of collagen and elastin to allolysin, which is necessary for the cross-linking of the structural protein. So cross-linking of structural protein will be by the lysyl oxidase. It serves as a or acts as a ferrooxidase, which is involved in the conversion of ferrous to ferric. It is necessary for the synthesis of melanin and phospholipids, and also helps in the development of bone and nervous tissue. That means in nervous tissue, the myelination of nervous tissue, the myelin sheath, formation of myelin sheath will be helped by the copper. It is the requirement of the copper. Suppose strong myelination is there, that means myelin sheath will be thicker. That if myelin sheath will be thicker, what is the role? What benefit will get? Yes, conduction velocity will be higher conduction velocity. Certain copper containing non-enzymatic proteins have been identified, although their functions are not clearly known, like that hepatocuprine. Hepatocuprine is a non-enzymatic protein that is storage form in the liver. Cerebrocuprine, storage in the brain, and hemocuprine in RBC. These are the non-enzymatic copper containing protein. Non-enzymatic copper containing protein. Then all of you know hemocyanin, it is a copper containing protein. Copper protein present in the invertebrates. Then very important, what are the abnormal metabolism of copper? That means what are the diseases caused by the copper? First one is the microcytic normochromic anemia. Microcytic normochromic anemia. Copper containing ceruloplasmin helps in the iron transport. Already have discussed, because that ceruloplasmin ferrous to ferric, and that ferric will incorporates with the transferrin. That means transferrin is the transporter of iron. So for that ceruloplasmin is very much required. That means copper is very much required. So copper an integral part of also allosynthase. It is integral part of allosynthase. Allosynthase, what is the requirement of allosynthase or alpha amino synthase? It will be helps in the synthesis of hemoglobin. But due to deficiency of copper, what will happen? To RBC, the count of RBC will be decreased. But hemoglobin will maybe less or normal. But RBC count will be decreased. And cell size will be normal. Okay. So that is called as microcytic normochromic anemia. Another one is cardiovascular diseases. So copper is a constituent of lysyl oxidase. It is a copper containing enzyme. What is the role of lysyl oxidase? It will help with the synthesis of elastin and collagen. Then collagen is the or elastin is the constituent part of the vessel wall, artery. So due to deficiency, what will happen? That wall of the artery will be thinner. It can be easily ruptured. That means weakening of the artery. So leading to the weakening of the wall of major blood vessels, this favors aneurysm and fatal rupture of the wall of aorta. So that means due to copper deficiency, so what will happen? The lysyl oxidase, work of lysyl oxidase or function of lysyl oxidase will deficient. Decreases. Okay. So due to decreases of lysyl oxidase, what will happen? The synthesis of elastin or the structural protein, that elastin or collagen will be decreased. As a result, what will happen? The cross-linking will be deficit. As a result, the wall of the blood vessels will be, major blood vessels will be thinner or weakening. As a result, it can easily rupture. Another is hypopigmentation due to deficiency of tyrosinase. If copper deficiency is there, so tyrosin will convert it to melanin. From tyrosin, melanin can be converted. So melanin is the responsible for the synthesis of pigment. Okay. So if deficiency of copper is there, so So activity of the tyrosinase enzyme will be deficit. Okay. So due to deficit of tyrosinase activity, what will happen? Melanocytes will be decreased as a result. So pigmentation will be not proper. That means hypopigmentation occurs. Okay. Are you able to understand? Any problem is there? This is also very short note, very important. Menkes disease. 5 mark question. So Menkes disease, that is also called as kinky or steely hair disease. Steely hair disease, it is a disorder of copper metabolism. It is a X-linked disorder. That means it affects only male children, male infants. It affects only disease. This disease occurs in the only male infants. It involves the nervous system, connective tissue, usually fatal in infancy. Early diagnosis is important because injections of copper may be effective to the. That means if early diagnosis you can do, so by injection the copper you can give, so it can be benefit. In this condition, the dietary copper is absorbed from GI tract but cannot be transported to the blood. Understand? From from intestine or GI, gastrointestinal tract, it will be absorbed easily. Okay, it absorbed easily, but transport deficiency is there. Transport problem is there. It cannot be transported to blood due to absence of the intracellular copper binding ATPase. The intracellular copper binding ATPase, due to that intracellular copper binding ATPase deficiency, what will happen? That copper cannot be transported. That means absorption is okay, but problem with the transport. Okay, the due to deficiency of copper binding ATPase enzyme. Binding ATPase. Why happens? Due to deficiency of mutation one gene. That which gene is deficient? Which gene is mutated? Mutated gene is the ATP7A gene. ATP7A gene will be muted. Mutation occurs in the ATP7A gene. Due to mutation, what will happen? The work of copper binding ATPase will be absent. Work of copper binding ATPase will be absent. As a result, what will happen? That whatever the copper will is absorbed, that copper cannot be transported. To blood. Understand? This ATPase is thought to be responsible for directing the efflux of copper from cells. When altered by mutation, copper is not mobilized normally from intestine, in which accumulates as it does a variety of other cells and tissue from which it cannot exist. Hence, copper is not available for metabolism, resulting in the defective, very important point, defective cross-linking of connective tissue. Absorption is there, but transport deficiency is there. Transport deficiency is there. Due to transport deficiency, what will happen? So, cross-linking of connective tissue will be defective. Okay. So what will happen? Vascular and connective tissue are affected and child dies during infancy. Okay. सूर्य अरे बोल समझ में आ रहा है ना? This is the case of Menkes disease, steel hair. Next is very important. This is the Wilson disease. Wilson disease very important here. Short notes. I must question. Wilson disease, also called as a hepatolenticular disease. It is a rare genetic disorder and also it is a autosomal recessive disorder. It is caused by mutation in the gene that codes for copper binding ATPase. In liver, leading to defect in the transport of copper and secretion of ceruloplasmin from the liver. Here also what happened? That deficiency in the or problem in the transport. Understand? So transport defective is there. That copper will be not transport. So as a result, what will happen? It will be copper will be more and more accumulates. Understand? Where it will accumulate? Where it will accumulate? It will accumulate in liver. It is liver because first copper it will be absorbed, then it will come to liver. From liver it should be transport. Okay, but what will happen from liver? It cannot be transport. As a result, the copper accumulation or more amount of or excess amount of copper will be deposited in the liver. Okay. But it is not working. Copper accumulates particularly in liver, brain, kidney and eyes, leading to the copper toxicity. It causes neurological symptoms, liver damage leading to cirrhosis, renal tubular damage and Kaiser-Pleasure ring. One brown pigment ring will be formed around the iris. Okay, so due to accumulation of copper in liver, it causes copper toxicity, and due to that liver or hepatic cirrhosis occurs. And another that disease in the eye, that is Kaiser-Pleasure ring, that is brown pigment around the eyes will occur. This is the ring. This is the ring. This is the brown pigment around the iris. Okay. This is the diagnostic criteria that you write down. You will go for liver biopsy. You will see the copper in liver more than 250 microgram per gram dry weight, and in plasma ceruloplasmin level will be decreased less than 20 mg per dl. 20 mg less than 20 mg per dl. If ceruloplasmin level will decrease, that means due to that decrease, so transport function will be defective. Transport function will be defective. As a result, more and more copper will be only accumulated in the liver. Then treatment includes the, that means it is high amount of copper is there. So first point is the take low diet which contains copper, and administration of copper chelator, that is D-pencilamine. So D-pencilamine it will be benefit how it acts as a chelating agent. It acts as a chelating agent. That means it will binds with the copper and easily it will be excrete. Easily it will be excrete. And also zinc can be utilized. Zinc can be, you can give also zinc. Zinc what will do? It will decrease the absorption of copper. Okay. Also you can give zinc. So zinc also you can give, it will decrease the absorption of copper. Okay. Any doubt? So first is your short notes, write down ceruloplasmin. Second is your Menke disease. Third is your Wilson disease. Okay. 3 short notes may come. Another question also may come. Short notes. Biochemical functions of copper. Biochemical functions of copper. Okay. So we'll stop here. Next class, you tell your friends, everybody should present in the lecture class. Whatever you have finished, it should be, they should also listen.